Elves, sometimes known as Sylvan Elves, other time known as Wood Elves, are a humanoid magical race that lives on Ashan. Yes, dear friends, we're talking about none other than our favorite right here, Heroes of Might and Magic. And since we're talking about the world of Ashan, it is the Heroes of Might and Magic that nobody likes. The one from 5 onward. Which is quite a shame because Heroes of Might and Magic 5 is like the best Heroes of Might and Magic game out there. Sure, 3 is good and 6 and 7 are meh, but 5 is the pinnacle of a game, story-wise as well. Let us go back to elves, brothers, comrades. These elves, the Sylvan elves, they live in the forest kingdom of Iroland. The elves, of course, like most elves, are known for being amazing archers and great huntsmen. Also very good with tracking skills, thanks to their longevity. Because as all elves are capable of living hundreds of years, so are the Sylvan elves of Ashan. Now, the peculiar thing about the world of Ashan is that they worship dragons, and the Sylvans worship the dragon of earth, Silana. Similar name, I know, and that gives them a natural affinity for earth magic. Or they tend to slow their enemies or use golems more than you can expect. Elves are considered the most graceful and serene of all races. And if you ever go out to Sylvan Elf, pal, that's gonna be a night you won't regret. It's also going to be the longest night of your life. They can go on for hours. And I guess that's also thanks to the fact that they enjoy staring at natural places and restoring destroyed wastelands to green utopias. They surely make me have a green utopia. Since the elves are such an ancient race that go back millennia, when the Wars of Fire started thanks to the first demon invasion, the elves were the first to answer the call, and the first to fight. Once the war was over, they went back to their forest to treat their wounded. At a certain point, elf culture and society would be wholly remodeled. Indeed, it is thanks to their ability to pick their rulers. Now you see, elves did not have permanent rulers. Their rulers did not inherit the title as the humans of the Holy Falcon Empire back then. No. Back then, the druids gathered, and through a vision they picked a leader. Now, some people thought this is not so great idea. What if, instead of picking leader, we just, I don't know, make the title hereditary, and because of that, a war started. High King Arniel decided that elf power was too decentralized, and he didn't like the tradition of the election of the supreme ruler, and so he started the war. And among the rebels he clashed with was Queen Tuidhana. Unfortunately, the queen asked for help left and right, but the more the things went on, the more the queen found herself in a pretty bad spot. So bad, in fact, that she was kinda done for it. But at some point, a certain mysterious figure comes to them and offers them a pact, a deal, if you may. And because of that, Tuidhana, in her desperation, accepts the deal. The price they had to pay was to give up on worshipping Silana, the green dragon of earth, and they start worshipping the faceless god, Malassa, the dragon goddess of darkness. And Tuidhana accepts this. With her new powers, she manages to put up an incredible fight against Arniel, even reaffirming her kingdom's independence. But that forever splintered the one singular elven people into two kinds, and two kinds of elven people that hate each other very deeply so. A peace was negotiated once the kingdom was split, and then peace seemed to be there, but as you can imagine, not for long. But what happened next is kind of disappointing, because a demon would blame the Dark Elves for something terrible, the burning of the Mother of Trees. And because of that, the Sylvan Elves decided to endure this attack with the most grace known to elvenkind and retaliate, because they're not dwarves to just take it up. No, they dash it out. Unfortunately, the truth came out, and Tuidhana gave her life She died as a martyr in her former lands, where she attempted to defend it against the vengeful Sylvan armies. The truth was hard to bear, and the new High King Vanyo, in his regret for blaming Tuitana's people, sent missives to the Dark Elves and offered them to return. Unfortunately, the Dark Elves didn't like that and refused to come back, and since then they've been unable to forgive that travesty. This created a great rift in elven kind, one that doesn't seem to be mendable. In the beginning, the elves were a much more closed-in society, more isolationist than anything else. But as time went on, they managed to carve a part of Ashan for themselves. The place where their first mother tree was has been stricken from all maps, and they made a new mother tree. But this one, nobody knows where it is if you're not elf. Proper elf, I mean. Anyway, centuries would pass and the elven nation would become more open to the world. It would work alongside the wizards of the Silver Cities and the Holy Empire in fighting against demons during the third and the fourth eclipse. But tensions with their Dark Elves comrades, they didn't go any better. The Dark Elves managed to create their own nation underground, Ixchala, also known as the Dark Below. Unfortunately, as hard as King Alaron is trying to establish stronger ties with other nations and trade in alliance against demons, it's not going that well because the Dark Elves still are not part of it. Now the elves again have become more active in the role in the world of Ashan, and because of that, you tend to see them more often than you used to back in the day. Thanks to their elves' connection with nature, they have 4 grand cities that each represent a certain season. For example, the capital changes at the solstice and equinox, and each city slowly tries to outdo the other. There's Siristala, the New Green, which is the spring capital, located in the west. Sirisvanil, the Golden Sun, is the southern and summer capital. Lotran is the Bloodleaf, and is the fall capital, and is located in the east, and as you can probably tell, close to the Empire's border. Now then, in the end, there's Siriswina, the White Wind, and it's the northern capital for winter. Who would have thought? The changing of the capital is a major event in Elven calendar and Elven society, and the procession of the royal court from city to city is said to be a magnificent sight to behold, for those that manage to see it. Important aspect in Elven political society is that there is a high king that rules over everything, and then there are smaller kings that rule their own tiny kingdoms. At the end of the day, they all are subjects of the high king, but sometimes it so happens that there are many elves that do stuff. From a linguistic standpoint, their language is more musical and resonates with harmonies. Even their belief, which is live and let live within harmony, is a nice expression of the musicality of their language. An aspect that makes our comrades over in Ashan the more endearing the more you listen to them.